Welcome back, everyone. Well, you know, reporting the news every day, it's evident in many of the stories that we do that the family and the health of a family is so important to the health of a community. And joining me today is a candidate for Warren County Family Court Judge, Ted Wilson. Welcome, Ted.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's great to have you here. I tell you, maybe it's my age or something, I don't know. But I do really notice that in many of the things that we cover, that the health of the family is so important to the health of the community. The office that you're seeking has a lot to do with what I just said.
Yes.
What drives you to want this position?
I've always liked helping people. I mean, that just goes back to my youth. My father was a homicide detective who became a deacon. And I don't know if it's genetic or what, but I remember going to church and having people run up to him to tell them their problems. And I found that fascinating. It's something that's part of who I am, and I enjoy it. I enjoy a challenge, and being a family court judge is certainly challenging, but it's really rewarding at the end.
You know, in your field, Ted, it's evident, you know, there are all kinds of attorneys specializing in all areas of law. This one requires so much human contact and so much personal intervention, you know, getting to know families. You've been a lawyer for a number of years.
26.
Just give me 26 years, wow. Give me just a quick rundown.
Okay, was graduated in 1990. I have 22 years of public service. I was a prosecutor in Warren County for about 10 years, worked for a family court judge for 10 years, so 22 years public service,
yeah, wow.
10 years in family court.
You're currently in the Supreme Court system, right?
Same judge who was family court judge, won his election 3 years ago, and now we're in Supreme Court, yes.
And you've decided to make the jump yourself now and run for that position.
I
right?
have, yes.
You know, I'm going to concentrate on what it takes to be good in this position. What happens when a family comes before you? What do you see?
Okay, so always they're in need, they're in crisis. And what I have done as a court attorney is, as a prosecutor, I had a lot of trial experience, and I thought I'd bring all that trial experience with me. And I recognized really quickly that trials make no sense in family court. And so what I did instead was focused on trying to get these parents to understand that the love they have for their children should take precedence over the animosity they have for each other. Mm-hmm. To me, to have a child take sides is the worst possible thing you can do for that child. Right. And so my focus was on trying to get the parents to settle their case rather than the court, which is going to know somebody for a few hours. None of that made sense to me. And so what I was trying to do was try to foster settlements. And that was a really good approach, and it seemed to have a lot of success. I think when you start bad-mouthing the other side, the child gets marginalized, and that child goes to school on Monday and hears how everyone else's parents are wonderful, and all they know about their dad is that he's an alcoholic, he's a deadbeat, he's fill in the blank. It's the same with mom. And if the parents can focus on the fact that every single child that I've ever met wants their dad to be the best dad in the world, and every child wants their mom to be the best mom in the world. Whether they are or they aren't is another story.
Yes, I bet.
But every child wants their mom and dad to be the best. And if parents can help their children get that image in their mind, then they're doing the best thing they can for that child.
Well, that's really well said, Ted.
Oh,
hey, I would assume that every family's unique, right?
Yes, I think.
In what ways? In what ways are they unique?
Well, you know, 60 years ago, it was the Cleavers on TV. You know,
yeah,
Leave It
right,
to Beaver.
Right.
And today, every family is different. You have homosexual couples. You have single parents. You have all different type family units coming to court. And what I try to stress to everyone is that you're going to be a family unit no matter what happens in family court when you leave here.
Oh, wow.
So,
Important.
you know, we can go through a trial. It's adversarial. Somebody once told me, a good litigator, that you go in as a pig, you come out as a sausage. Mm-hmm. It makes no sense.
Right, right.
So what I want the unique family situation in that person's life to understand is that when they leave court, they still have their life as a family unit, and to maximize the time that they can spend with their children and make it as full for that child as possible.
You know, one thing, it's pretty apparent in talking to you that you place the child as a top priority. You know, you think about that. Life's not perfect. You know, divorce rate is very high in our country. The traditional family unit has changed drastically. You know, you might mention Leave It to Beaver, and then on the other side is the sitcom Modern Family.
That's
and you
right.
think about all of the differences that you've witnessed in just in 2 generations, quite honestly,
right.
in terms of social acceptance and stuff like that. But making the child a priority has to, I would imagine, be key to all of the ways that you work with people. Now, you're going to work directly with them, and I would assume that means you're working personally with them too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. My boss, the judge, the family court judge that I've worked with for 10 years, used me a lot to, right before trial, go down and talk to the parents. And again, my philosophy has always been, we can have a trial, that's what we do. And if we're going to have a trial, we're going to do it right so they won't have a reversal and have to relitigate it. That's important to me. But more important is to try to settle their case on their terms rather than some third party called a judge who will listen to you for a few hours and make a decision about your life. What I'd much prefer is the parents put aside the animosity they have for each other and recognize that their love for their child or children should take precedence. And it usually is very successful. People understand it and go with it.
You know what, Ted? Again, it takes a certain kind of personality to seek this position, and not all judges are created equal, that's for sure.
No.
So now, Ted, by the way, has endorsement Republican, conservative, and reform parties, although I assume in your position politics doesn't really play a big role.
10 years, I've never asked anybody what their political affiliation was, and I won't when I'm judge if I'm judge.
I got it. Well, Ted, best of luck to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for taking the time to come in. This is a very, very important decision to be made, and don't forget to vote on November 8th. Thanks for coming in.
You bet. Thanks so much.
To see this interview again, you can head to our website, looktvonline.com.